James Gunn's DC universe is ready to embrace mature content, which the DCU couldn't do at the right moments. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Superman will, of course, be the DCU's first big-screen project, bringing the Man of Steel back to live action in style. Supergirl won't be far behind and will likely connect to the events of its predecessor in some way, shape, or form. The next DCU movie on the release calendar is Clayface, scheduled for September 11, 2026. This project focuses on the origin story of a villain who doesn't yet have a hero to fight. Gunn doesn't seem worried about putting the cart before the horse though, as horror expert Mike Flanagan is writing the project, and Speak No Evil's James Watkins is ready to sit in the director's chair. If a good idea comes across James Gunn's desk at DC Studios, he'll take it seriously and, in some cases, greenlight it. Clayface's fast-moving development proves that nothing is off the table in the DC universe, a mentality the DC Extended Universe should have adopted during its dark periods. I mean, it's not anything now, because the MPA has to watch it. But it's most likely rated R. It's pretty intense. Hearing that a comic book project is going to be intense this long before release is a breath of fresh air. Sometimes, there are whispers of a superhero movie or show veering into mature territory. However, it rarely comes to fruition because studios are afraid of alienating audiences and cutting box office returns at the knees. It's a problem that the DCU dealt with toward the end of its run, but had it stuck to its guns, the franchise could have turned out very differently. Gunn is so confident in the project that he's ready to announce that it will likely have an R rating, via DC Studios Showcase official podcast. There's another DC movie that almost had an R rating, Black Adam, that feels a bit more connected to everything else in the DCU. Characters from Peacemaker, Amanda Waller, and Superman all have cameos, and it also doesn't hurt the movie's credibility that Dwayne Johnson has top billing. DC releasing rated R movies is nothing new. Both Joker movies, Suicide Squad movies, and Birds of Prey all have the distinction, as does Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's hard to consider Snyder's magnum opus in the same category as the other films, though, because it was initially released on HBO Max rather than in theaters. That's important because DC's other R-rated movies take place in their own corners of the franchise and don't have a major impact on the main continuity. 3 years later, Gunn is in the same boat as his predecessors, with the only difference being that he's ready to support his filmmakers and not tie their hands behind their backs. It remains to be seen if the strategy will pay off, but there's little doubt that Clayface will make more of an impact with an R rating instead of a PG-13 one. To make Black Adam more accessible, the powers that be toned down the violence during 4 rounds of cuts, via Variety. The final product is fine, containing a couple of memorable action sequences and character moments, but it's not enough to change the hierarchy of any universe. Making Black Adam PG-13 probably put a few more butts in seats, which surely made the box office meetings less tense. However, taking a risk by releasing essentially the same movie, only with a few additional death scenes, could have helped it stand out in the superhero landscape at a time when the Marvel Cinematic Universe was struggling. Read more about how Marvel Studios is working to get its franchise back on track. DC Studios continues to weave the web between projects in the rebooted DCU. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. The DC Cinematic Universe, DCU, has only just begun with the release of Creature Commandos and the upcoming Superman, but DC Studios is already laying the groundwork for its interconnected universe. Co-studio head James Gunn made it clear his DCU will do some things differently from the current MCU. Still, both franchises aim to create a range of superhero projects that link together into a cohesive universe, which involves planning these links well ahead of time. The Wonder Woman-adjacent television series Paradise Lost was one of the initial DCU projects in James Gunn and Peter Safran's Gods and Monsters slate. The series is focused on the origins and culture of Themyscira, the mythical all-female island from which Diana Prince hails. Gunn confirmed to Entertainment Weekly that Paradise Lost and the upcoming Wonder Woman movie would be separate things, but that they're connected. A new Wonder Woman movie was only just confirmed to be in development, so it's unclear how intertwined the two projects will be, but it's a safe bet that Themyscira will be a link between both. DC Studios already laid out how some of its projects will connect, whether that be through a certain character appearing in multiple DC films or series or a story event linking these disparate titles together. With a second season of Creature Commandos confirmed, It will no doubt continue to be a launchpad for DCU characters and connections across the wider superhero universe. Creature Commandos and its ragtag team of monster heroes already have fingers in several DCU pies thanks to its inclusion of characters like Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr., who has a role in both Superman and Peacemaker Season 2. Viola Davis also returns to voice Argus director Amanda Waller in the animated show, who was responsible for assembling the Suicide Squad in the old DCU, and Gunn's sequel The Suicide Squad, and commissions the Creature Commandos team. Several Superman actors have been confirmed for appearances in Peacemaker's second season, including Isabella Merced, Hawkgirl, Nathan Fillion, Green Lantern, and Sean Gunn, Maxwell Lord. Superman is also heavily rumored to feature a cameo from Millie Alcock's Supergirl film, which will tie the two Kryptonian heroes' stories together. Superman hits theaters on July 11, 2025. Superman is the first live-action film in the rebooted DCU and, as such, is one of the essential tethers in the superhero universe. The appearance of Rick Flag Sr., Frank Grillo, in the film connects the movie to Creature Commandos, but perhaps more relevant is how Superman will connect to the next DCU project, Peacemaker Season 2. In Season 1, Peacemaker followed on from the events of the Suicide Squad, and saw Peacemaker team up with Amanda Waller's daughter Leota, Danielle Brooks, to stop an intergalactic invasion. Season 2 of the show will follow the events of Superman, introducing Frank Grillo Sr. to the story and some of Superman's Justice Gang characters. Releasing its second season on August 21, 2025, on HBO Max, Peacemaker is a unique project that existed in both the old DCU and the new one, and as a result, will bridge both superhero franchises. After being introduced in the Suicide Squad, John Cena's non-traditional hero gained enough popularity to earn his own show. While audiences will meet Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner, aka Green Lantern, in Superman First, he is far from the only man to carry the moniker, which will be explored in the HBO series Lanterns. The next major film release after Superman will follow the Kryptonian's cousin, Supergirl. Landing on June 26, 2026, the movie is directed by Craig Gillespie and stars Alcock as Supergirl in an adventure that features Jason Momoa's Lobo. Regarding crossover material, Supergirl is likely to connect in some ways to Superman's events, just because the two characters are family. However, a cameo from David Corenswet's hero or another Superman character isn't unlikely, particularly if Alcock makes an appearance in his solo film first. Additionally, Supergirl is expected to include Superman's dog, Krypto, who features in both stories. Another TV show included in the Chapter 1 slate for the DCU is Waller, a solo series starring Viola Davis's Argus director. The series is supposedly directly connected to Peacemaker and will explore Waller's relationship with her Argus team members, particularly her daughter, Leota. However, it's unclear where the series stands right now. A report indicates that Waller is one of several DCU projects facing problems in development. These projects are far from the only ones